back here at the Barclays Center for Atlantic 10 Men's Basketball Media Day, and I'm pleased to be joined by a head coach who led his school to the Sweet 16 in 2013. Head coach of the LaSalle Explorers, Dr. Giannini, joins us. And John, first of all, congratulations on last season. And this season, you're starting year 10 at LaSalle University. Time flies when I guess you're having fun, right?
Yeah, that's an eternity in college basketball, and I'm incredibly fortunate not only to be at a great school, but a place where they have perspective and values, and they've really given us time to build something.
Season 9 was a great season for you in Philadelphia and LaSalle. 3 wins in the NCAA tournament, a Sweet 16 appearance. At what point did you think that last year's team was a team that could make such a run?
That's a great question, and the answer that I have surprises people. It would go back to the 2011 and 12 season. We were coming off a year where we underachieved. We had mostly freshmen and sophomores, and we were at Villanova, who at the time had won like 51 of their last 52 home games. Great rivalry. We led them for 39 minutes and lost in overtime, and it was a heartbreaking loss. But our staff in the hallway, when we kind of overcame the emotional distraught, said, you know what, this could be the best team we've ever had, and they're all freshmen and sophomores. So it was at that time, in that heartbreaking loss, that we realized that these young guys could play with anyone, anywhere.
Now, has anything changed in terms of the perception in the Philly area or nationally now that you had that exposure last year, making the Sweet 16? Is recruiting any easier in Philadelphia? Is the awareness of LaSalle even more? At least, what's your experience after that Sweet 16 run and now your experience through this summer after that great run?
It's a great question. First, I think that the exposure really helped us outside of Philadelphia. Last year we got a recruit from Atlanta. We got a recruit from a Virginia prep school. We had another recruit from the Miami area. And those kids all watched us in the NCAA tournament. They liked the way we played. They liked the chemistry that our team showed. I think out of the area, it's really helped us. In Philly, I think we have to continue to get high-level players who want to stay close to home. And that maybe hasn't changed as much because, again, we're always going to recruit the top players in Philly. We need the Tyreek Durens. We need the Tyrone Garlands. We need the Jarrell Wrights. That's always going to be a focus. So that's not as much of a change. But the out-of-the-area stuff is definitely a plus.
You have a legion of guards at your disposal, and you mentioned one of them, Tyreek Duren, who was named a preseason first-team All-Atlantic 10 selection for 2013-2014. Talk about his game and talk about what he needs to do this season to take it up to another level.
He's really good. I can remember maybe one time in the last 2 years where maybe someone got the best of him. So when you're playing 70 games, around 70 games, and I can only think of one time where he might have got outplayed, that's a heck of a compliment. He is a winner. He makes plays. He makes great decisions. He makes big shots. He's a consistent shooter as well. Tremendous poise, especially on big stages and at critical times. Starting his sophomore year, he became a committed defender. And again, he's so good offensively. And I told him when I recruited him, I love the way you play. I'm going to try to make you better, but I'm not going to change anything about you offensively. But defensively, you have to step it up. So as a leader, and because he's going to be on the court and because defense wins, if he keeps his defense at a high level, I think that will help him and our team a lot.
Talk about your philosophy of coaching and where it came from, at least for the past few years, watching the Explorers, a lot of guards around, maybe one big man, sometimes 5 guards on the floor. So just where did the philosophy or current philosophy of your coaching while coaching at LaSalle come from?
Well, I've always had coaching jobs that people thought were tough recruiting situations, but we always got good players, whether it was in Division III or Maine or early on when we were rebuilding LaSalle. So initially my feeling was always get the best players you can, and then you can win with talent. You just change your offense, change your system to fit the players you could get. But that's changed a little bit. Through trial and error, we played against so many teams with great guards, and a couple of years ago we made a conscious decision. Let's get guards and big guys. Let's get away from the tweeners a little bit. Let's get guys who understand their roles, big guys who want to be strong and physical, guards who can make plays, make shots, have quickness. And what happens then is the guards complement the big guys complement the guards, your chemistry is good, everyone's doing what they're best at. And we also learned from other teams. St. Joe's, before I got there, had the great team with Jameer Nelson, Delonte West, and we played against great Villanova teams that were guard-oriented. So we learned a little bit from trial and error and watching some of our local rivals.
No matter how many times you play good teams, you're in the Sweet 16, playing in the Big Five is probably the most grueling thing that you always have to go through every year.
Well, the Big Five is a big deal to me. Of course, they're natural rivals. It's very important to your alumni. The local media, of course, pays a lot of attention to it because Philly's passionate about college basketball. But there's a more objective reason it's important to me. For the last 14 years, the winner of the Big Five has gotten in the NCAA tournament. And if you can win in Philly, you can win anywhere. If you can beat Villanova, St. Joe's, Temple, and Penn, you're good enough to beat just about anyone. So I don't worry about UCLA. I don't worry about Texas. I worry about Philly. And if we can win our share of games in Philly, we can win our share elsewhere.
The league has reshaped a little bit. No Butler, no Xavier. VCU coming into the league last year, finishing second place. Also, George Mason coming into the league. Last year, the Atlantic 10 was as deep as any conference in the country. Yes. You think that will still be the case this year?
I think it'll definitely still be the case. Again, I've been saying a lot today that we had 10 top 100 teams last year, and only one conference in America exceeded that mark. So we pretty much had more good teams than just about anyone. That's going to continue for these reasons. A lot of returning strong teams. UMass returns a lot. St. Louis returns a lot. VCU returns a lot. We return a lot. Richmond returns a lot from a top 100 team. Then you have programs with new coaches. St. Joe's returns a lot. 3 potential all-conference players. So there's 6 teams right there that return a lot from top 100 teams. But Dayton was on the cusp of that with a new coach and their building. Rhode Island is got a new coach and they're getting better. GW has a new coach, they're getting better. And then you add George Mason, who's already a top 100 team, and I think there you have it. And Fordham's getting better. So I think the teams that were outside of the top 100 are going to break that. We added George Mason, and on top of it, the top teams have a lot of talent coming back.
Dr. John Giannini, thank you so very much for joining us. Continued success this season and for the rest of your coaching career and to your team.
I hope so. Thanks so much. It's a pleasure.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Sam.